Hi, I'm Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment, and welcome to episode 5 of my 2001 Walt Disney World College Program 20-year reunion series. This episode is going to focus on our experiences working at Disney and living in Orlando throughout the 2001 holiday season. And today it is just myself and my former roommate from the college program, Kim, who has already been on some of these webcasts, like half of them, I think, before now. So I don't know, but if you want to just say hi and like, if again, just share your social media in case anybody's listening to this and hasn't listened to the other ones, and then we'll get right into it.
All right. My name is Kim Oyseshuk. Maiden name was Gallant when I was back on the program. Nothing interesting on my Insta, but it's Kimba1382 or at Kimba1382 on Instagram. But on there, you can find my now network TV famous sister-in-law.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Why?
Food Network. My sister-in-law was on the Food Network the other night for the Christmas cookie show.
Oh, cool. I'll have to look that up. That's fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, as I already mentioned, I'm Tara. You can find me on Facebook. Oh my gosh, I can talk. I'm Tara, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at A Geek Saga, and on the web at ageeksaga.com. So we have a lot of holidays to talk about, of course, and we're just gonna get. Oh my gosh, I really can't talk today. I don't know why. It's like it's dark. It's almost dark, so that's ruining everything.
Almost.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's 4:00 here. So.
I know.
just to be clear, I am not on the East Coast right now. Okay, so we have 3 major holidays to talk about, and also just a whole bunch of other stuff in between. So we'll start with Thanksgiving. So for me, I know that we had a lot, there was a lot going on around Thanksgiving, weirdly enough. I know that about a week before, one of my friends, Jamie, had organized like a group dinner. Were you at that group dinner? I don't know. We went to Liberty Tree. There was like 6 of us that went, but I think you might have had to work that day or something.
Probably.
But we basically had early Thanksgiving dinner at Liberty Tree because that's what Liberty Tree serves, is essentially Thanksgiving dinner. And this was, because it was holiday season, but not Thanksgiving week yet, we were still getting our a really good food and beverage discount. Because we went like lunchtime, or maybe it was late lunch, early dinner. It was in the time frame where we could use our Cassover discount, and so we got early Thanksgiving dinner, for people who weren't going to be able to work or weren't going to be able to do that because they were working or whatever. And then the week of Thanksgiving, I had extended family, not immediate family, but extended family, an aunt and uncle and their kids visiting Universal. And they were staying at one of the Universal hotels. I think it's like Portofino or something like that. So they had, the line skip privileges back then and everything. So I got to go hang out with them for a day and go to Universal. It was like the Tuesday, I think, right before Thanksgiving on my day off. And so I got to see Universal holiday decorations and do, actually see family Thanksgiving week, even if it wasn't on Thanksgiving proper, which was, wasn't my immediate family, but it was still nice.
Yeah.
But so leading up to Thanksgiving, I'm sure we did things together, but I remember the big things, but there's some of the, little things that are just spotty to me.
Yeah. Thanksgiving, I remember, was the first time I got homesick. I remember Thanksgiving morning calling the family while they're all sitting down for dinner and I'm getting ready to go to work. And it was the first time I was like, oh, I miss home and the whole, the big family celebration. I think that was one of the hardest days for me, but I don't know if I did anything per se to celebrate Thanksgiving. Maybe I know you said you had something at work. I don't know. Maybe we did. I can't remember, but I remember being home. The first time being homesick was Thanksgiving when it hit.
Yeah. I was really worried I would be, but also I'm not a huge Thanksgiving person. I like it, but it's not, it's never been this. Christmas has always been the big thing with my family. So being away from home for Thanksgiving, I was worried about it. But then when it actually happened, it turned out to be kind of fun. Not the being away from home part, but just, having, like I said, the Thanksgiving dinner with some of my friends at Liberty Tree the week before, having some extended family visiting and being able to see them the week of it. It might have been Wednesday of Thanksgiving week. It was either Tuesday, but it was like close enough that it felt like, okay, well, I got to see some family. They took me out for a nice meal, you know. And then, you know, Thanksgiving Day, I got really lucky because I was, you know, you go in to work and at Pirates, we used a computer. Unless the computer system was down, the computer told you where to go, which wasn't how it used to be in the past. In the past, I believe when you clocked in for work, to work at Pirates, the first thing you did was go to greeter. And then the greeter went to tower and bumped the person who was in tower, which is the ride control area, to break. And then, you know, I think it was greeter. Does that make sense? Greeter, tower. No, maybe it was greeter load, whatever. I can't remember the exact. I can't remember because I only did it on Thanksgiving Day. It was the only day we didn't have the computer system. So usually it didn't send us through the obvious rotation. It just sent us to, you know, this is the person we think needs a break next, which by the way, the computer did not do a very good job of. No. Later, when I worked at Hollywood Studios, at Sunset Ranch Market, when I was a manager there, we had people who literally controlled the computer system and had to send people on breaks because otherwise half the time or more, the computer would be sending somebody who had just gotten to work at like 9 a.m. on their lunch at 10 or 10:30. Oh. So the computer system at Pirates is a little better, but on Thanksgiving, we didn't have to use it. And we're also really overstaffed. I mean, they were like begging people to go home.
Oh, talking to hear.
Yeah. What is she asking me?
Oh, she wants to use the iPad charger. Hold on 1 second. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, this is what the live stuff is all about. So anyway, you know, because we were overstaffed, they were trying to send people home, but I had taken kind of a long weekend and also not been getting very many hours. And also basically all of my friends were going to be working long days that day. So I'm thinking, you know, what's the point of going home early when I'm just going to be sitting in the apartment by myself or whatever, you know? And so I decided to stay at work, but because we were so overstaffed, they just kept, you know, bumping through the manual rotation. And I got like 3 times as many breaks that day as I was supposed to, which is lovely on a major holiday. Cause I worked it was at least an 11-hour shift, but it might've been 12 or 13. And, you know, so I was just, I don't remember how many breaks I got, but I got at least 2 45-minute lunches, plus probably 5 or 6 15-minute breaks. I don't think I stayed in any one position more than 45 minutes, maybe at most an hour. And we had a potluck thing going on in our manager's office. So there was somewhere to go with, you know, our coworkers and our managers who we all, you know, I knew most of them, honestly, by this point. So good food too. I didn't bring anything, but there was like there was a whole ass Thanksgiving meal there. It was really nice. And Pirates Adlib wasn't always one of those places that felt kind of like a team because it was 2 different areas of the park. And, you know, I might see one person at Pirates, you know, once and then not see them again for 3 weeks because they were working Jungle and Mansion and the Liberty Boat, or ATT, which is Aladdin Tree and Tiki. You know, so there was one other college program person on at my ride, and everybody else was all over the place for the most part. So it was really, you know, it was just one of those really nice, like, I had to work, but it really didn't felt like it didn't feel, wow, I can talk again. It really didn't feel like work for like most of the day, which was so nice. So I don't know, Kim, did you guys do anything? I think you said you didn't do anything like that in your area, like a I don't know, not have to be on the computer or, you know, have food in the manager's office or something. All right, go on. Sorry, Kim is being, to those listening live, Kim is being bugged by children and husbands.
Yeah, he just got home. So
hello.
Tara says hi.
Hi, Tara.
I'm lucky for once Dean didn't have to work today. So.
This is late for him. It's Best Buy owns his life from now till January.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah, so I don't remember if we did anything on Thanksgiving Day. I wouldn't remember if they did anything. I think it was just like a normal day, and we had like the normal computer. I think just working as it was. I can't remember. I'm sure we were busy, as it being a holiday, but I don't remember like if we changed schedule or anything like that.
Yeah, I do remember this was the first time I worked at Pirates. So since, the end of August, this was the first time I worked there that we had more than a 45-minute wait. Or, well, I'm sorry, no, previously, I think the highest wait we'd had was 20 or 25 minutes. When I came into work that day at 10 or 11 a.m., we already had a 45-minute wait. I don't think it got up to more than like an hour, maybe an hour and a half that whole day. Even that I think I don't even think it was that much, because I know we had about an hour and a half to 2 hour wait most of Christmas Day, but I don't remember it being that bad on Thanksgiving. I feel like Thanksgiving that year, there was still this sort of like fallout from 9/11, because even when I went to Universal with my aunt and uncle, it was before Thanksgiving, but only a day or two. And it was not that crowded there, not in terms of like, whoa, this feels like holiday crowds. So yeah, but walking into work at Pirates when you've never had more than like a 20 or 25-minute wait the past, 3 months that you worked there, and even that was super rare. I think I could probably say a dozen times at most, maybe on weekends, once in a while, we'd have a wait that long. So yeah, wow, holy crap, 45 minutes at Pirates? What? Who's going to wait that long for Pirates? P.S. I just was at Disney a couple weeks ago, and the ride said it was a 45-minute wait, and I got in line because I was like, I cannot go to Disney and not ride Pirates. Yeah. It wasn't that long though; it was only like 25 minutes. So
yeah, I think we always consistently had a long line at Pooh. I think it was one of the new popular rides, and it was probably just always consistently long no matter the day.
Did you work Peter Pan's flight ever? Or
no, that was West.
Okay,
so
yeah, that's
rides, yeah. My rides was Pooh, the teacups, the Snow White ride was still there, and Dumbo.
Yes, I do remember. I do remember you working the Snow White ride and Dumbo and Pooh. Teacups I didn't, but honestly, wow. I honestly did not remember you riding, you working at Teacups. Yeah. I kind of forget that ride exists all the time. Do people actually still ride the Teacups? Who knows?
They do. Some people enjoy it.
They can take that spinny. I can do it, but not if I'm in the ride with somebody who's just crazy spinning it. So yeah, I mean, for me, Thanksgiving really wasn't bad. It was the day after that was really rough, because of course the parks were still really busy because it was still Thanksgiving weekend. And somebody, I don't remember who, but somebody forgot to say, they said good morning and good night to George at Pirates, because that's a thing we had to do.
Yeah.
If George is the Pirates ghost, you said good morning to him when you opened the ride and good night when you closed it. Somebody, either at opening or closing, forgot to say happy Thanksgiving to George. And to this day, I will just always use that as the excuse for the fact that Pirates was broken down for 2, maybe 3 hours. I think it was close to 3 hours the day after Thanksgiving. Pirates is not a ride that breaks down often. It's been there since the early 70s, and it is just, it's a well-oiled machine, for lack of a better word. So for it to be down for 10 minutes, 15 minutes here or there, once in a great while, sure. But 2 or 3 hours was just crazy. And I still to this day don't remember if they ever figured out what exactly it was. It was just down, and nothing we did was fixing it. There was no one to blame. And I think eventually maintenance was down in there fiddling with things, shuffling things around. And finally it was just like, bam, it's on again. And we're all just like, how? And they were like, we don't really know, but it's back on. So just go do the thing. So yeah, that was a fun post Thanksgiving experience. And like I said, I know because I remember somebody saying that day when I got in, and it was already broken down when I arrived. It had maybe just broken down 20 minutes before or something. And the person who was in tower was like, so-and-so admitted they didn't say happy Thanksgiving to George yesterday. And I was like, oh no. So, all right, well, Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. And, I get that it was difficult for people to be away from home from that. But for me, it wasn't that hard. And again, helped a lot that I had this sort of great week of things, even Thanksgiving Day itself. Like, yeah, I had to work, but it was so fun and good and easy. Now, we'll get into Christmas, actual Christmas holiday in a little bit, because that was an entirely different story. But so there's that whole period between Thanksgiving and Christmas, where the parks have been decorated for Christmas since literally November 1st. And Mickey's Very Merry starts, I believe, like right after, I think it's like a couple days after Thanksgiving is the first Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party. So Christmas itself, like the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas, leading up to Christmas, working Christmas events. I don't know. Do you, what are your like highlights, memories, good or bad, whatever?
So as we were talking before the show, my family came to visit for a couple days, if I remember right, early December. For some reason, I have early December stuck in my head.
I think you're right. I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, it was like December 4th and 5th or something.
Yes, exactly.
How do I remember that?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was like the 2nd through the 5th or some combination of that. And I remember I stayed with them at like Caribbean Beach. And then we have pictures of like you with my family having breakfast at Crystal Palace or some kind of meal at Crystal Palace. So it was kind of like needed, you know, to see the family for a little bit. And then some of the memories I have, at one of the Merry Christmas parties, the kid I was working with and I got in trouble because we were working the Snow White ride. It was slow. We were singing Christmas carols. I was operating the ride. I'm pushing the button. I was operating the ride and he was the greeter and he had come over to talk to me because we were trying to remember a Christmas carol and I don't remember which one. And one of the managers had been watching us and somebody reported us. And so we had to get pulled into a meeting with like another manager. And I was like, they were essentially firing me. And I was just like, well, I guess I'm going home for Christmas. And that pissed him off or something because I got saved, but yet my coworker got fired. So we ended up having like a going away party for him over at Chatham. He lived at Chatham. But yeah, I remember like working a few of the Very Merry Christmas parties, and we have pictures of us hanging up a tree in our apartment, celebrating your birthday. And then other than that, leading up to Christmas, it's hard to.
I would guess like, so with you and your coworker, the problem wasn't that you were singing Christmas carols. The problem was that he left his post and was distracting you. That's why he's the one that got fired. Likely they wanted to get rid of you both just to make an example. But whether it was what you said or whether like the manager was suddenly like, ah, shit, that's right, she won't be here for Christmas. Now what? That means we lose one of our minions who works the shitty shifts. That's like, honestly, like as a manager, I can almost guarantee you that was his first thought. But my guess would be he was the one that got let go because he left his post. And I know before the show we were talking that we went to the Spectacle of Lights together, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I had no memory of that until you said something. And then I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, we did. And I'm 99% sure that's the only time I ever went to the Spectacle of Lights, even though I did go back to Disney, not over Christmas itself, but like in December, at least once, probably twice, like a few years after the fact. But I don't know, actually 3 times probably, but they haven't had Spectacle of Lights in a long time. And I think that I'm pretty sure that's the only time I went. I do remember, that and because they had it snowed there and it snowed on Main Street at Magic Kingdom during Mickey's Very Merry. So we got to see the snow at Spectacle of Lights. And then my managers made sure that I got to go to Main Street to see the snow during one of the Very Merrys that I was working at. I don't remember what they did. It might've been I was on parade shift that night and they were like, leave Pirates like 30 minutes early and go check out Main Street for a bit. Something, I don't know, but they let me go do it. And That couldn't have been that because I would have been in costume. I don't know, whatever. Maybe it was like after the shift, they were like, it's okay. You can like change in your regular clothes and stay here for a while. Who knows? But seeing snow was like, we're both from New England.
Mhm.
So having snow on Christmas, that was the first Christmas, like most of our lives, we'd had snow on Christmas. There might have been a couple where there wasn't, but it was rare. And if there wasn't any on Christmas, there certainly had been some earlier than that for sure. Yeah. So yeah, it was very much like, I don't know, it was necessary, needed, whatever, to see that.
I think we both cried. It was Spectre of Lights and they brought it down. I think we pretty much both cried. It was like, oh my God, it's snowing.
I think so too, which is so funny because like now as an adult, I can't remember the last time I had snow on Christmas. Because I've lived in the South for so long and then now in California. And I think the last time I saw snow on Christmas was the last time I went back to New England for Christmas, which was like 2012.
Maybe. It hasn't actually snowed on Christmas Day or Eve in a long, long time. But if we're lucky.
Well, I'm talking Connecticut too. And I know that even though it's just because there's snow one place doesn't mean there's snow in another in New England, but like there was definitely a Christmas Eve. I was in Connecticut for Christmas and it was snowing because we went to like this midnight service at my ex-husband's church and it was amazing. Like in the town square of Ellington, Connecticut with the gazebo and the little quaint, I'm not. It was not Catholic.
Nativity scene.
No, it was at the church. I'm trying to think of what church it was. It wasn't Methodist. It's a Methodist-esque like church and church service. I just can't remember what it's called. Me, not religious. But yeah, so like it's been probably a decade or close to it since I've seen snow on Christmas. So yeah, but back then, it was rare. So to not have it. So yeah, it was nice to see that. And my birthday is in December, like Kim mentioned. So we just went to like Hollywood Studio, MGM at the time, and did our usual let's ride coaster and tower.
Mm-hmm. I think we did dinner at the 50s diner.
Oh yeah, you might be right. I think we did.
I have the picture.
And at some point, it must have been soon after Thanksgiving that we decided we wanted a Christmas tree, right?
It had to have been. I think we just needed it.
Yeah, we needed that in our lives. And you bought the Christmas tree at Walmart, I believe, for like $30. Like it was cheap, but I was like, Kim, are you sure you can do this? And you were like, I need a tree. And I'm over here like, I don't know if I have the money. And then I got my birthday money and it didn't matter anyway, because like we had this Walmart Christmas tree and BT Dubs up until it was one of my more recent moves. I can't remember which one. It might have been when I moved. I bet you it was when I moved back from Florida to South Carolina in 2018. My parents dumped a whole ton of crap at my house in South Carolina. And they were like, here, this has been in our storage unit for like ever. We need you, like, we're getting rid of the unit. We need you to we can't deal with this anymore. Understandably so. I'm like in my like mid 30s at this point. Like, thanks for taking care of it for so long. But in one of the boxes was Christmas stuff. And I had already sent you some like poo ornaments years and years before this, but it had Walmart ornaments in that box that were from our college program. Most of them were broken. I think there was like one or two that was salvageable. And I was like, they were so cheap though. I was like, I'm going to pack these away and they're going to get broken. So I got rid of them. But like, yeah, I was like, holy crap. Like, how are these still here? They're definitely the, $3 pack of 6 crappy ornaments that we bought at Walmart. Yeah. But then I got birthday money and we also had that 40% merchandise discount back then. I don't know if they still do that for cast members, but holy crap, that was amazing because I bought so many sets of ornaments, which have not seen the light of day, like probably in 7 or 8 years now. But one set was the poo set that I eventually sent you because my ex hated poo. He was like, I will not have this on my tree. And obviously we're still together at the time. So I was like, well, I'm not going to throw them away. This is like a $50 set of ornaments. Now I didn't pay that, obviously 40% off, whatever. But I was like, Kim, do you want these? So yeah, I definitely bought, we had like a Pooh set, a pirate set, a Fantasia set. They were like the nice, like resin Disney ornaments too. And I have most of them still. So, so we actually had like a proper Christmas tree, which was so nice.
Happy Gilmore an appropriate movie?
No. Sorry. I forget.
Did she ask, is Happy Gilmore a weird movie?
Appropriate.
Oh, is it an appropriate movie? No. Oh, how old is your kid?
This one's 11. That's Mackenzie.
Yeah, probably not.
You can watch Grinch.
Okay.
Oh, is Happy Gilmore an appropriate movie? Oh, probably not. Maybe not for an 11-year-old. I say, knowing that my nieces and nephews have probably watched it. Their parents let them do anything. Anyway, so that's kind of the between time, I guess. As for actual Christmas, that was the holiday, like I said, I had been really worried about, but pretty early on in our college program, my parents, they were like, I can hear, what are they watching?
It must be the original Grinch.
Oh,
sorry. Do you need to mute it?
Probably, yeah. Oh. just because it's like it's loud. But hold on, I'm making a note of something. So, oh gosh, what was I saying? I got lost here. Oh yeah, so pretty early on in our college program, my parents had said like, well, you're not going to be home. And to be honest, I think they were like going through something with like some of our extended family and didn't want to deal with them over the holidays. So they planned a big family vacation to Disney, which was like great for me. I know they planned it thankfully, because of September 11th. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's kind of what it was. They were able to get rooms, which like normally if you've been planning a Disney trip like 4 months or 3 months in advance of Christmas, that would never happen. And I think they stayed like 2 nights at the Hard Rock at Universal, and we went to Universal, and then they stayed like 1 or 2 nights. I think it must have been 2 nights at like a Hilton or something, also over by Universal. And then they had rooms at Coronado Springs, I believe. I have this feeling that they had rooms elsewhere, and then they couldn't get like they got to that hotel, and that hotel was like, wait, no, we don't have rooms for you, but there's rooms at Coronado Springs. So I think that's what happened. I don't remember where they were supposed to have rooms. It wasn't originally Coronado Springs. It was some other hotel. They went there. It was a Disney hotel, but they went there and they tried to check in, and they were like, wait, we don't have any rooms. They had a reservation, but there'd been something that happened, some error, whatever. So they said, okay, well, we do have rooms at Coronado Springs. There's plenty of rooms there. Please go over there. Well, my parents were pissed off at this point. So they marched into Coronado Springs, and they were like, because I think they were supposed to stay at Contemporary. I mean, they were supposed to stay at a higher end resort, and they're being sent over to like, I mean, now Coronado Springs is a little nicer, but at the time it was basically like the convention resort. It was nice enough, but it's just out of the way, really spread out, whatever. So my parents get over there and they're pretty pissed off because like they've already had to shuffle hotels because of the holiday. And it's like, that was their choice up until now, but it's still stressful. And now it was my parents, my 2 younger sisters, and also some like really close family friends. It was this couple that was basically an aunt and uncle to us, and their 2 kids who were very young at the time. And, so they get over there, and my parent, and then they're being told they only have 2 rooms they can give them. And my parents are like, well, we don't want to be crammed in a room with our, like this small room with our 2 daughters, and I was supposed to stay with them, but they didn't have the room with the extra pull-out bed or whatever. So they argued their way. Now they paid for it, not the full price. That is for darn sure. They did not pay the full price, but they finagled their way into the presidential suite at the Coronado Springs Resort. So they had like this, I mean, it was a 3-bedroom, like 2.5 bath suite with like a giant living area with its own Christmas tree already there and a wet bar, not a full kitchen, but like a little kitchenette area, microwave, little refrigerator, sink, whatever. And so it turned out to be, holy crap, we don't actually have to spend Christmas in just like in a hotel room or whatever. Like we actually, or just kind of out in the public, we actually have this private space. So, and this was a totally last minute. I think they checked in on the 23rd, maybe the 24th, but I believe it was the 23rd. So yeah, it just turned into this like, holy crap, we get this like amazing suite, and of course, Kim being my roommate, like I was like, obviously whenever you're not working, you need to come hang out with us so you have family time. And you'd met my mom, but not the rest of my family. So you got to, have Thanksgiving. It wasn't your family, but you know, still a family, and you were nice. One of us. I think my parents bought you a present at Disney, at like downtown Disney, and like wrapped it up just so that you'd have something on Christmas morning and stuff. My parents are like that. But yeah, it was I don't know. It was this weird, just kind of amalgamation of events like I said, my parents absolutely paid for that presidential suite. They just didn't pay the full price. But they'd had kind of a hell of a day after already having to move hotels, right. Once before this, and then they get to their hotel and there's a mix up and there's no rooms, and they have a reservation but there's no room, so go to the Coronado, but it's like a lesser hotel. I don't know. It was a big mess that turned out like the best way possible. Yeah, for all involved.
For some reason, I thought they were at the boardwalk. Maybe that was an earlier stay.
That was when I checked in for the college program. Okay. Right. So you know what? You might have met. Actually, shoot, you did.
Yeah, because so you had Shula's.
Yes, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh! So you had met my family once, very briefly, and the whole family too. Both my parents and my sisters. And now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, holy shit, Shula's. Like my parents are like, we're just gonna make this girl one of ours, because Shula's. We had literally just moved in together like that day or the day, I think the day before, and my parents were I think we'd moved in the day before, and my parents were leaving. My family was leaving, and I'm like, can I bring my roommate like out? She doesn't really have anything to do. We don't know anybody yet. My parents like, yeah, of course, we're going to dinner at Shula's, and I'm like, oh, okay, Shula's. I've never been there. Holy crap! Like. This is like, and back then it was like a $30 steak place, and a $30 steak in 2001 is like a $65 or $70 steak these days. So Kim had actually met my family very briefly before Christmas. But yeah, my family's like that. They always like to take in strays. Which is like a horrible way to say it, but you didn't have family there at Christmas, and I did. And it was like, if I can share my family with you, please take them. Yeah. And I mean that in like the best and worst ways. Take them, please. So yeah, like I have a picture somewhere of a bunch of us, not the whole group, but like a bunch of us, and I'm sure, I think in it, in front of the little tree that was in the presidential suite and everything. Yeah. It was, it was like, it was a really great, and the day before Christmas was beautiful. It was like 80 degrees and sunny and perfect. And it had been nice leading up to it too, maybe a little cooler, but Christmas Day sucked. Like we were with my family Christmas morning, I think we drove over from Vista in our cute Christmas PJ. And then we had to like go back and get ready for work or something. But I mean, we both worked late shifts that day.
Yeah. And we both worked together. I think we went in together or something. Yeah. I remember us two being upset about working on Christmas. We were so mad.
Yeah. I think I would have been less upset about it if A, my family wasn't there, and B, the weather wasn't so awful, because despite it being beautiful, like almost every day in December leading up to Christmas, it was like high 50s at most and raining on Christmas Day. And I remember getting out of my car, and I think even though my family was there at Disney and I'd just seen them that morning, that was the first time I was like, this is fucking miserable. Yeah. Like I've got to work Christmas, and maybe having my family that close was the biggest thing. Like they're right there and I can't be with them, Yeah. And they're out having fun at Hollywood or at MGM or wherever they were, and I'm stuck here. But but yeah, I didn't have a super long shift that day either. It was like 3 to midnight or something. It wasn't the worst, but it was the weather being so bad, and I had to work parade shift. So did you just work like your regular kind of ride shift and everything?
Yeah, I never got parade, so it was just
okay.
always, mingling the rides.
I guess, I mean, with you, at least you had several different rides to bump between.
Yeah.
I loved working parade most days. I probably would have loved working parade on Christmas. And to be honest, that was the one thing about that day that sort of started like, okay, it's cold, but I've got a pea coat, right? I'm fine. And I'm working parade. This is better than being stuck, at Pirates, like up in Tower by myself, or at Unload, and just like, ahoy mateys, welcome back, collect your belongings and blah, blah, blah. Like, so, I thought working parade route would be fun. And it started off okay because it had stopped raining for a little while. And then it started raining again, and the parade was delayed, and everybody's getting mad, and we're trying to entertain them. And meanwhile, it's raining, and guests and stuff, most of them have umbrellas or ponchos or whatever, but not the workers. We just have our pea coats, and my hair is wet, my head is wet, and my hands are wet, and like every part of my body that is in the open air is wet, and there's no like. We were given, they did come relieve us for like a few minutes at a time to run back to the office and like towel off, but then we had to go back outside like almost immediately. So it was nice of them to do that, I guess, give us like a little bit of dry heat and towels to get the wet off as much as we could, but like we still had to go back outside. And then it finally stopped raining, but it had just gotten colder. I mean, I think by the time I got off work that night, it was 46 degrees. And I'd been wet most of the day, and I got super sick. Like I was supposed to go into work the next day, and I couldn't. I had to go to the like the emergency walk-in clinic. They gave me some medicine. I don't remember what it was. And of course my managers were pissed. I mean, they were threatening me, like, you need to come in. I was like, whatever I have, like, I think I caught it from being out in the cold and wet all day yesterday, but maybe it's been in my, like, I don't know how fast these things work. All I know is I felt like absolute ass. And, so they were all mad at me, but and it wasn't like I was going to the parks or anything. Like, my family was there, and my mom stayed back from the parks so that like I could, because I went to their suite and was like using their bath. They had like a big jacuzzi bathtub, and I was like sitting in the hot bathtub, like in steam and everything. And so like I got super sick. And I mean, I don't know, like, what was your working Christmas Day experience? Was it any better than mine? Because at least you were undercover probably most of the time, right?
Yeah, I was pretty like undercover. I think for me, it was just more like emotional upset, oh, here you are with your families all happy, jolly, bally. Mine are 1,300 miles away.
They were 1,300 years in the past.
Christmas Eve is a very big tradition on my mother's side, and that was the first one I had ever missed, and so I was pretty like upset about missing that. And so I think I was just like emotional, but I was just missing everyone, so I was like not happy to be there, but you just kind of push through.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like, I feel like I said earlier, I think for me, it wasn't the working on Christmas. If the weather had been better, especially, it was more knowing that my family was so close and everybody else is working on Christmas. Right. So like, it certainly wasn't, oh, I could be doing something better with my time. And I know the next day when I called out, like my managers, they knew that my family was visiting, and they were like, I mean, they basically said, like, you better not go to the parks, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do you hear me? I am like, I was just stuffed up and coughing and sore throat. I mean, and it was one of those things where, do you really want this person to come to work and to be handling, like, pressing buttons, right? Like, now I'm thinking like COVID era, like,
right.
Oh my God. Like, and I know people did it. I know people, I know people. When I was a restaurant manager, I sent people home when they came to work, like hacking up lungs and stuff. Cause I'm like, we can't have you handling food. And the other managers would get so mad at me, like, well, what are we going to do about the closing shift? And it's like, I don't care. Are you kidding me with this? Like, ew. Yeah. And I don't know. They just don't care. And most, honestly, let's be real. Most like hospitality, tourism, restaurant, food and beverage, and retail places don't give a shit. So, but yeah, at that point, like I called out that one day. I told them, I said, listen, I will pick up another shift. I don't know, next week or whatever my next day off is. Like, give me a shift or something. But I think they did that. But the problem was I never actually got better. Whatever they gave me at the emergency clinic, it wasn't what I needed. It did absolutely nothing. Like I felt a little bit better after having a day of rest and like hot baths and, stuff like that. My mom taking care of me, to be completely honest, which I know is not anything that most people who got sick on the college program had. And I went back to work and it was like, everything's fine. Right. Until it wasn't. And, New Year's Eve is like less than a week away, or less than a week from Christmas. And what I had not only persisted, it got worse. And I went into work on New Year's Eve because I knew they'd probably fire me 2 weeks before the end of my college program if I didn't go into work, since I'd called out the day after Christmas. And I went in and they sent me home because I don't know what happened, what I said, what I did, but it was like they could tell I was not there. And when you're working at a ride, we joke about it's just pressing buttons, and that is really what it is. But at the same time, you still have to be present. Yeah. The fact that Disney, not that I gave a shit at the time or really give a shit now, but it still surprises me to this day that they don't drug test. Because wow. But whatever. They don't, I guess they've been afraid to, I think is really what it is. And even if they did, it's like, you're really gonna, I don't know. I knew a lot of people, like I smoked with a lot of people that I worked with, you know what I mean? They all fucking smoked pot at the very least. Probably some of them did worse, but I only ever smoked pot with them. But at the same time, none of them ever did it at work and before they went to work or anything like that, At least not that I knew of. But so yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember how sick I was, but you had to work. I'm sure, Chris, like New Year's and everything, right? I don't remember you being at home at all. So
no, it worked. The one thing I do remember about New Year's Eve is when we all got home, because I think most of the college program, we worked till like 12, 1, 2 a.m. because I'm sure they did like a big fireworks show. Yeah. One of the things I remember is being outside building 15 and we needed our own countdown to New Year's Eve. And it wasn't that we just did it once or twice. It was like, oh, it's almost midnight. And we would just count down. And then eventually from someone, I think it was like Vistana, got mad and called the sheriff's department on us and kind of shut us down.
Yeah, it was every hour on the hour, I think. It might have been every 30 minutes.
I would say, yeah, I felt like it was a lot. Like,
because I got sent home from work early because I was so sick, right? And by sent home from work, I got sent, like they sent me to the emergency clinic, and I think I had to call them or have the emergency clinic call them to prove that I went there.
Oh wow.
Because like they knew that I was sick. They knew that I shouldn't be at work. They knew that I needed to see a doctor, but they also wanted to make sure I wasn't just going home to party or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be illegal. And maybe it was, I don't know. But like, I'm 99.9% sure that I had to call them from the emergency clinic, or I had to get the emergency clinic to call them and say I was there.
Yeah.
99.9% sure. And that is not a memory that I would make up. I don't hate Disney, or I don't hate having worked for Disney that much, honestly. Right. But I was at the emergency clinic for like 4 hours. So by the time I got new medication and got food and went back to Vista, it was 12:30. I think I got back to the apartment, downed my burger, took my medicine, knew I couldn't drink on it, went over to building 15. And I remember them counting down like a couple times, but I didn't drink or anything because I'm not an idiot. Right. And I also know I went to bed by like 1:30 that night. And I had like already preemptively told them I'm not coming to work tomorrow. Like I can't, maybe something will change, but let's just, not. And I think like I called them the next morning to let them know, yeah, I definitely can't come because they gave me Z-Pack at the clinic, which it turns out I'm allergic to. And I only know that because that's the first time I had it. And I woke up like on New Year's Day. And it's like, I remember waking up, I remember throwing up, and I took it with food. Like I just said, I literally came home from the clinic, ate some food, took my pill, went and hung out for like an hour at most, didn't drink, went to bed, woke up at like 7 a.m., puking my guts out for like an hour, went back to sleep, and I slept all day. And I don't remember waking up that day at all, but I called when I finally woke up and felt like a little bit lucid at like 6 o'clock at night, I called my mom and she was like, Tara, why are you calling me again? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, Tara, you've called me like 6 times today. I'm just like, and I'm calling from my cell phone too, because like, we didn't have long distance on our phone. My mom was like, stop calling me. I'm sorry, you're sick. There's nothing I can do. I love you so much, but stop calling me. And I'm like, I remember nothing. I don't remember that entire day. So that was my fun, like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day experience, like woohoo holidays. I mean, I almost sort of, if I'd been healthy and gone to work, it's like, fine, whatever. It probably wouldn't have been the greatest, but at least I wouldn't have been like puking my guts out all morning and then apparently just completely not lucid at all the rest of the day. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, obviously you had to work New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as well, but I think you hung out later than I did or longer than I did at Building 15 because I know when I went to bed, I went to bed by myself because I was like, I'm sorry, I'm miserable. I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But so you must have been there when they like shut it down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember them all coming over and it was pretty much like, you guys are done, like go to bed. And of course, us under 21, we're putting our drinks away or just like running away. And like, we're good. See you.
Like, what? I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. And I can't, like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I probably came back to the apartment. I don't know. I think I was like seeing Scott at the time or something. So I don't know if I like went back and hung out with him or when, or I don't remember.
I don't even remember Scott. So good for you. Like you dated a lot of people on the college program, and I was like, I had like, like a couple little, like I had one guy at the beginning I was a little bit into that was weird as fuck, and then I had another guy that I met after September 11th that lasted off. It was a kind of off and on. I had a couple guys from work that I went on, like one guy I went on dates with, but he was Mormon, and that didn't work out because he was a weirdly controlling Mormon. And like, then I dated another guy from work who legit, oh yeah, that was another thing about Thanksgiving. The guy I was sort of dating, and I use this term very loosely because like we never went anywhere and we never did anything other than kiss and like kind of sleep in the same bed and cuddle. Like, he was older than me. I was 18, almost 19, and he was like 26, I think, which isn't that much of a difference, like years wise, considering I am now with somebody who is like 13 plus years my senior. But like back then, 18 and 26 is a big deal.
Yeah.
And he got in trouble for calling out of work or something too much. And like, but he was a member of the union, and it was, I don't know, whatever it was, like he left to go, he had to leave, or he just wanted to leave and go home to wherever he was from for like a vacation trip, whatever. And he was gone for Thanksgiving, and I remember he called Pirates Tower on Thanksgiving looking for me, but I was like not there. I think he called like twice, and then he finally called a third time, and they were able to, I was on break or just come back from break, and they were able to like snag me and be like, hey, so he's on the phone. And I talked to him for a few minutes, but it was this really weird conversation. That was the last time I ever talked to him. He never came back to Disney. Nobody, for the longest time, nobody knew where he went. I think that some of my former coworkers from AdLib are like actually like friends with him on Facebook again now. Maybe some of them that I wasn't super close with knew where he was at the time, and they wouldn't have known to tell me because it wasn't any sort of big news that we were dating. I mean, we literally just would like cook dinner together at his apartment and hang out and watch wrestling or a movie. Like there wasn't any going out in public. It wasn't, I don't know. It was this very weird, like I said, like there was really no physical relationship there or anything. And so, yeah, it was like this, but that I forgot about that. That was the Thanksgiving thing that he like called looking for me. And that was the last time I ever talked to this dude.
That's so weird. Yeah, this is Scott.
Oh, okay. I remember him.
Yeah. And so
now that you show me that picture. Wait, why is it me and Allie in that picture?
I was at work. It says,
okay.
The caption that I had to hand write says, I see how it is. Well, I'm at work. Scott's pimping on Tara and Allie. Because it was a pimps and ladies party.
Yes, there you go. Very good. Very good. We are so woke now. And I say that with all the love in my heart because we really are. Because back then, that's not what it was called.
Well, that's what I'm saying now because I have a child in the room.
Oh, that too. Well, I'd be saying that anyway because it's a terrible. I mean, honestly, even pimp is like it's a terrible party theme. Let's be real. Yeah. I'm too woke for that these days, and I don't mean that sarcastically. Like, please don't, people. But yeah, gosh, I'd totally forgotten about the fact that like Thanksgiving was the last time I talked to this guy that I was like pseudo dating. It was a weird relationship. It's fine.
What's his name?
Corey.
Oh, I remember, I think.
Yeah, like he was a nice guy. Like, and like really, like he never like, you know, even though he was quite a bit older than me, which I know again, 8 years ish doesn't sound like a lot, but it is when you're 18 and 26. Yeah. But like I is also a very like mature 18, and I know a lot of people say that, but like I really was like I've been working since I was 14. I'd been, you know, I was fairly mature for my age, and I think he was kind of mature for his age. So I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know, like he was a dude who liked to watch wrestling and work at Disney and smoke some pot. So pretend I didn't say his name ever. No, it's okay. That's why I was trying to like, I'm really doing my best to not like refer to the guys I dated by name because I don't have like the nicest things to say about all of them. He wasn't that bad. Like, honestly, other than the fact that he literally disappeared off the face of the earth. And the last time I talked to him was like for 5 minutes on the phone at Pirates on Thanksgiving. Like, it wasn't this bad thing. It was just this really weird situation. But, yeah, I mean, so you got to experience a little bit more of New Year's than I did. And I mean, I know you had to work on New Year's Day and stuff, but honestly, like I said, I rather would have been working than, you know, puking my guts out and basically in sunset for the entire day. And again, like, it's just, I think back and that was like the biggest complaint I really have about my whole college program, my time working there, was how like worried I was about about getting sick and having to call in around those holidays, because that's a big no-no, huge no-no. And I wasn't, you know, trying to screw anybody over or anything like that. But again, and I think what it turned out that I actually had was a sinus infection. So it wouldn't have been anything that people could catch. Right. But that doesn't change the fact that somebody who is that ill should not be working a ride.
Right. No. And especially because Disney was so, you know, safety was top priority.
Yeah.
So if you weren't, because I think I remember too, I don't know if it was around like the same time or a couple earlier, but I remember like going to like, you know, the clinic one time or like even the ER, and I felt miserable. It was like a sinus infection. I never had one before. So it was probably like being down in Florida, all the weather changes and everything, just adjusting to it so quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, like nowadays, I feel like global warming has really just messed things up, or maybe it's just me not being used to being like to the New England thing where it's basically like you might get lucky and have, you know, that sort of fall air, like fall times, like summer, where all of a sudden for a few days it's 70 degrees. But for the most part, once it's cold, it's fucking cold. Yeah. And in Florida, you know, we'd had chilly days, but most of December especially was warm and beautiful. And then it was like Christmas, all of a sudden pouring rain and cold, and I'm working outside. really outside in the rain, which doesn't help things. So, oh gosh, oh, good memories.
I know.
Which is so funny because like I don't. I have such great memories of Thanksgiving and such. Well, I got lucky on and didn't have to work on Halloween. And actually, so you weren't on the Halloween one. So do you want to like talk about your Halloween experiences real quick? Since we didn't get to, because like you had a probably totally different experience than I did. So
yeah, I remember I was like trying to type. I'm like, I don't think anyone can hear me. But I remember you were talking about like going to the Christmas party and like, dressing up as
the Halloween party, yeah.
Halloween party. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're on Christmas now, so
it's been a long day. I think I don't remember. I must have had to work on Halloween. I don't remember. I probably remember being there for a couple parties, but I remember going to like do the party with you, and then I don't really have much more memory of it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I have memories of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're so vague, despite the fact that it was really to this day one of the best. Like, I really probably the best memory I have from the college program. Like, totally sober, but like, who the heck? Like, how many people get to say that they went to the Haunted Mansion at Disney World for a Halloween party, like an after hours Halloween party? Got to see.
Was I there for that, or was it just at the other one?
No, it was at Haunted Mansion. It was at Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Yeah, we went to a friend's apartment first, and that's where we have pictures. I have pictures from the Haunted Mansion Halloween party, but they're all like absolutely terrible, and I don't think you're in any of them.
No.
Which is weird. Like you don't have any pictures of it either. Like I have pictures, but
not in my album. I have like pictures of like our costumes.
Yeah, and that was our costumes.
Yeah, I showed Dave. He laughed at me.
Yeah, I would laugh at us too. Honestly, I'm laughing at myself now. Like I look back and it's like my hair was so curly, and I tried to like. This was before like straighteners were like a common thing, so I tried to like blow dry it straight, and it was just this big like, like half like very blonde and half like my natural dark blonde hair. It was so bad. It was so bad. Oh, 18-year-old Tara, what did you do with your life? Although I guess by Christmas, obviously I was 19-year-old Tara, but I still, because we both had our 19th birthdays on the college program. Did we do anything for like specific for yours? Like I'm sure we partied or like went somewhere or whatever, but I have like zero memory of either of our birthdays.
You took me out. You bribed me to go out. Because remember we had the night before, I think I had some bad chicken nuggets mixed with some other things.
Oh, okay.
And
some other things, possibly alcohol. Was it alcohol?
and then we had that stupid. Remember, I woke up sick. And I'm like, let me have a bowl of Frosted Flakes because we have a stupid housing meeting, and I kept getting sicker.
Oh yeah, that was your birthday. Oh god, I forgot about that.
So I think I ended up calling. I don't know if I called out of work. I must have had to because the meeting made us anyways. So I started off the morning like that, and then like you bribed me. I'm like, come on, let's go out. I'll pay for you. I'm like, all right, fine, let's go. So I think we went to dinner at Planet Hollywood, and then we went to Pleasure Island.
Okay. Oh god, Pleasure Island.
I think
I don't remember. Like we didn't go to Pleasure Island a lot because we weren't 21. Yeah, I went there a lot more on later college programs when I was 21.
I think we only went like a couple times. It
wasn't that fun to be honest, it wasn't the most amount of fun when you were over 21, but at least you could drink.
Yeah. I thought I had
something. And there were parts of it that could be fun, like 8 tracks could be fun if they were playing the right music. The Adventurers Club was always a good time, and the Comedy Club too, like if you got the right seats and stuff. So like I've had good times at PI, but they were all after I turned 21, let's be real.
Yeah. I remember that going there a few times, and like they did their own, which makes me think of it now, they did like their own countdown of like, it's almost midnight. So that's what we were copying on New Year's Eve.
They did it they did it every night at PI at midnight. And
I think that's where we got the idea from.
Except every like 30 minutes. And I think from what I heard after the fact, that it is because of New Year's Eve and those constant countdowns and how obnoxious everybody was. Now, granted, there were other things, other trouble leading up to it, right?
Yeah.
But I heard that it was New Year's Eve that is what broke the camel's back and had them say, like, really crack down on the parties, because the summer of 2002, when I went back, and even the things I've heard since then, even about Vista, was like, they did not party. They did not party the way we partied.
No, I think 'cause
they
we were just
couldn't.
that night, even just like aside from the countdowns, we were just obnoxious. And, there's families over at Vistana. And I think we kind of,
Which is funny because I'm pretty sure neither Vista Way nor Vistana even exists anymore. Which is so weird. But yeah, the idea that it was like our program as a whole was the straw that broke the camel's back, but the New Year's Eve thing, the countdowns every 30 minutes from midnight till like 3 or 4 a.m. Because I think I remember going back to my room, which was so we lived in building 9, and it was a circle of buildings 9 through 15 around a pond, and building 9 was diagonally across-ish from building 15, and I could hear people counting down, like, even as I was trying to go to bed. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So yes, for anybody listening to this as a podcast, it wasn't really a circle. It was actually a weird, I don't even know how to describe this. It wasn't even a square, but it was buildings 9 through 15. And in the middle was a pond. And maybe it was the pond that caused the most issues because the echo right over the water.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I remember hearing you guys counting down as I was trying to go to sleep that night, which I did pretty quickly, but it's like, I heard it while I was going back. I heard it while I was getting ready. I heard it when I was trying to go to sleep. And it wasn't keeping me from sleep, but I can imagine, families on their holiday vacation at the resort right next door, because Vistana was very close to our set of buildings because we were at the front of the property.
Like it abutted it, like, like jump over a fence and you're in Vistana.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely what it was. It looked exactly the same too. It was so weird.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, like so. Good.
Yeah.
Good
I think we made some family in the sheriff's office mad that night.
Yeah, and probably all of Disney security as well for having to deal with you people. Because I wasn't there right away. I'd gone to bed like a good little girl who was also very sick. I honestly, like the whole like Christmas to New Year's part of my college program is a very bad memory for me. Because there were some other like personal things that happened that I'm not going to get into on this webcast because they're very dark. But just like, FYI on the college program, bad things happen to girls sometimes who are drinking or not drinking, or might have been drinking something that was given to them by someone they thought was a friend, but actually had something in it. So just saying, it wasn't the only person that happened to. So bad time for me. But other than that, so I guess like we'll be doing in January. We're skipping December because obviously, Thanksgiving is this coming week, and then I've got stuff going on in December, and then Christmas and New Year's and everything. Right. But in January, we'll be doing the final episode of this series. So I'm hoping I can get Brian back and maybe get some new people on as well. Maybe Nikki will come back so that we can talk about, ending our college program, going home, how things changed for us, how we all kept in touch because things were so different back then. Right. But you were supposed to stay. You were supposed to stay till I did, which was like the 18th of January, and you went home early. You went home like the 4th or something.
I think so. I think it was like early January.
So it was like your New Year's was like you had New Year's and then you were gone. Mm-hmm. So looking back now and knowing like that was kind of like your last couple days of the college program, like what does that have any effect on like how you felt about it, or like your your experiences because you knew you were going home really soon?
Looking back, I wish I had stayed. I think I got a tunnel vision, and there was just so much. I think the homesickness hit me bad, and I just got this tunnel vision. And of course, there was a boy at home, and I was like, oh, I just want to get home to him. And I think I used my hip as an excuse. I mean, it was bad. It was getting worse, but I think I was just kind of like, it was sad this ending, but I just wanted so badly to get home. And I think now, I mean, obviously looking back, like I wish I stuck it out. And it's given me, in a weird way, it's like helped me out with life, because I'm like, when I get that tunnel vision, like I can see a few times, like I just get that tunnel vision and I'm done. I'm like, now I just try and stick it out. And I'm like, remember, like, you gave up on this. And I just wish I had it.
Yeah. And I think, so I actually, now that I think about it, I think I was supposed to stay until the 18th, but I think I actually also went home a little early, like the 8th or the 9th of January or so. And I'll talk about that more. I don't remember why, but honestly, it was more just like everybody, like, I think our apartment emptied out. Mm-hmm. Like everybody else went home, including you. I was by myself, and all of our friends, their end dates were also very early in January. So I was like, why? And I actually, my school was actually, by the time we got our schedule, because like back then you didn't get your semester, you didn't know when the semester schedule was until a couple months or so before it was starting. So like my semester schedule was starting, I want to say right around, the 15th of January or something. So I was like, yeah, I've already missed a semester of school. I can't continue missing school. I can't miss the first couple of days of a semester. Of course, I didn't end up going back to that school anyway. That's an entirely different story. But so I think I bowed out early too, but it was still like a week past after you did. But even so, like, the only thing you missed was maybe a few more days with me, because let's be honest, everybody else that we knew, for the most part, like 90% probably of the people that we knew and were friends with on the college program, they were gone like on January 4th, 5th, whatever. Yeah. There was a good almost week where I was just like, this place is a ghost town. Mm-hmm. And then, new people were going to start moving in, and I was like, oh, I don't need to know these people. Yeah. So, well, on that note, I mean, I think we've covered the holidays well enough. There's definitely, I think, a lot to talk about, next time in terms of like ending the college program, going home, how all of that felt, because that's just a whole different animal of like going home from the college program, and it's all you talk about and everybody hates you for.
And this one time on the college program.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. So on that note, thank you again, Kim, for joining me for our holiday discussion. It was kind of nice. It was just me and you, because we had so many memories together from, the holidays, mostly just December and Christmas and everything. But thank you again for joining me. Again, you can follow me across the web at Geek Saga for updates on when you can catch the next episode in this WDWCP 2001 20-year anniversary series. And that will be sometime in early to mid-January of 2022. Oh my gosh. So really, like, it's still 20-year anniversary, because we all stayed through the beginning of January at least, but and that episode is going to focus on how our CP ended, how doing the college program affected our futures career-wise and beyond. So again, thank you guys for joining us, and have a good night. Bye.